Hi, welcome. Today's another solo episode of Something New is Possible, and I want to talk more about kinesiology and neuro emotional coaching. So, let's talk a little bit about change and behaviors and moving ourselves forward and creating goals and being successful. So, most of you have had the experience of setting a goal, and maybe you decided on an action plan. Let's say maybe you wanted to lose some weight, or maybe you wanted to make more money, or you wanted to have a job. And as you're moving yourself forward, you encountered some obstacles. A lot of the times, this happens when we have these sort of life changing goals. So, not necessarily when we're looking to have a job, but when we're looking to change a behavior about ourselves or a pattern that we have that we simply don't want to do anymore. And what we experience is that we do a little bit and maybe we get started and we're able to change it, but then, eventually we stop or we do less of it and, it just goes away. So this is a phenomenon that we have, and it's part of the human existence. And I want to address it, and I want to talk about how kinesiology and neuroemotional coaching actually makes a difference. So, one of the reasons that we don't necessarily do what's good for us, a lot of us, is that we really overestimate our willpower, and then we underestimate the subconscious and the unconscious and the power it has. So imagine that you are on a ship and you're steering yourself towards a course. You set the course and you know where you want to go, and you're moving yourself forward, and yet you're feeling that something is not quite working out for you, because what's going on is that the motor is actually not supporting you and it's going in a different direction. Now, in this case, the course that you're setting, the map that you're looking at would be your intellect, and the motor is sort of the unconscious, the things that you can see underneath the water. When those things are not in alignment with one another, when one thing is going one way and the other thing is going in a different way, we have a difficult time achieving our goals. Most likely, the way that you can identify with that is that you're saying, I'm sabotaging myself. On one hand, we're underestimating ourselves because we're not looking at what's really going on underneath. On the other hand, we're overestimating our intellect. Every time that we have a goal, we need to use words and we need to use language. So we need that intellectual part of ourselves because it helps us define it and create it and move it forward. In our imagination, we use the capabilities of the intellectual mind. That, however, is only 10% of us. All the other stuff of why we're doing things or why we're not doing things is the 90% of us. So we have the subconscious and the unconscious. The subconscious is kind of easier for us to get a hold of because it's sort of like the emotions and the things that you push down. But when you release the pressure, they come up. The unconscious is really difficult for us to get a hold of because it's deep down there and we don't want to get to it. It's like we put it down there for a reason. Yet that is the part that we want to get to because it tells us everything and it directs us and moves us forward in the positive way, in the negative way, in all kinds of ways. So let's say I want to lose some weight, and I've set myself on a course and exercise and diet and all kinds of changes and sleep and drinking water, and my unconscious is not in alignment with it for whatever reason, and it's not logical. Because you might say to me, Barbara, but it's logical. I want to lose weight. It makes sense. But the unconscious for some reason says it's not good. Last time we tried, we can't, we're not good enough. All these kind of different reasons. Kinesiology, muscle testing, is a 2,000-year-old technique, tool that has the capabilities of letting you know what is going on with the subconscious and the unconscious. It's basically giving you the information of what the cells have to say. There's so much research that lets us know that we know what's going on in the cellular level memory. Kinesiology basically brings that knowledge to a surface. So it's very simple. You can muscle test any muscle that we have. Usually we use the deltoid, the arm, but we can use also other muscles. And it's based on the premise that when we are saying something that is positive for us, or when we're thinking about something, or we're looking at something, or we're holding something that's positive, has a positive impact for us, that the muscle will be stronger, and vice versa, that when we're holding something or looking something or saying something that's not positive, that the muscle will be weaker. Now, if that premise is true, and there's actually some evidence that it is, research has been done, then we have a way, like a lie detector, to get all kinds of information about us. Now, the good news is we get that information. The bad news is I might not want to know about that information or what that says, because it gives me another level of reality and truth about myself that might not be comfortable for me. I might find out that, in my relationships, I'm not 100% in alignment with, who I'm with. It might tell me that I'm not 100% in alignment with my job, with the changes that I want to make. But from where I'm looking, it's actually good news, because to the degree that you are aligned with yourself is what you see on the outside and the results that you're producing. So muscle testing just tells you, it's just like, it's like a gauge. It just measures the temperature. Neuro Emotional Coaching uses muscle testing then to do something with that. Because at the end of the day, the goal is that we want to move ourselves to 100% being in alignment. So if you come to me and you say, hey, I want to be in alignment with losing weight or making more money or getting pregnant or starting a business or finding the love of my life, I can assist you with that, because we can identify where the blocks are, and they're deep down in your consciousness. Connect them to prior things of where the body set those kind of blocks for a very good reason, and then neutralize them. And once those blocks are neutralized, which essentially means that your chemistry, your neural pathways are opening up, and you're able to create new neural pathways, you can then put in that neutral space, you can put new behaviors into that space and actually support yourself in moving forward. Because every time that we want something, we're doing something, we basically need to either stop what we're doing and start something different, or the combination of the two, so that we can get ourselves from A to B. So saying this in another way is basically we need to identify what's holding us back. What is making the motor go in a different direction or in the wrong direction? What is, helping us to pull up the anchor? And understand that if we're just working with our willpower, the power to just pull it up, saying, oh, I'm strong enough, that's not enough. Now, I'm not saying that if you are working with your mind and you have positive imagination, all those kind of things, that it won't help. However, what I am saying is that you want the two of them, and you want to definitely find out what's holding you back. And using neuroemotional coaching is sort of like the best of two worlds. On one hand, we're looking at where are the blocks, where are they located in your consciousness. Maybe it's, when I want to make more money, maybe it's the fear of being successful, or the fear of failure, or it's the fear of I'm not good enough that's holding you back. And that maybe you even in touch with some of it, but you don't necessarily know how it's connected. And, maybe when we're looking at, creating other positive results, it simply has to do with the fact with maybe too hard, or maybe I am, once I have this, I don't know, what am I going to do with that? So there could be a lot of reasons of why we are stuck in the way that we're stuck. And just so that we are all stuck somewhere in our development. So just because I have my shit together in some ways and I'm doing really well doesn't mean I have it all together everywhere. So very few people out there really have their, let's say, shit together in all aspects, in all areas of your lives. And so wherever you are, you could be super successful. There will be that little bit in your life where you want to be more successful, or there might be something that you want to learn about yourself. And maybe you say, oh my God, Barbara, I don't have my stuff together at all. So it's like, that's where we start. Muscle testing always helps you to go and to look at where would be the best way for you to start. So another benefit that we have when we're using muscle test, we can muscle test for priority, meaning where should we start? So let's say you're coming from a completely different world, that you do acupuncture, or maybe you are a mother or a father, and you want to figure out, what's the best way to deal with my child in this particular area. Muscle testing is one of the ways that you can, whether you're a practitioner or not, a coach, where you can actually simple test and find out, oh, this would be good for me to do first. It shows us what the priorities are, what the best way for us to deal with somebody in a situation is. So there's many, many, many integral parts to muscle testing. I'm not sure that you want to know all the details. What I do want to say is that I'm super excited about it, that I've decided to actually teach people what I do, teach people the whole package of neuro-emotional coaching, not just muscle testing, but really people have asked me about this for a long time. And I've been working with people for 30 plus years. And I think the time has come for me to pass on my experience, my wisdom. So I will be doing it. There will be information coming forth about a course that I will be teaching. And if you are, curious about it, let me know. If you want to know more about muscle testing or you're curious about neuroemotional coaching, there are a bunch of videos on the YouTube channel that you can take a look at, or just simply, send me contact me. In the meantime, please like my channel, pass it on. And I want to leave you with this. If you have been frustrated, if you have been doubting, if you are worried, if you feel like, your universe is always going in the same direction, and it's not going in the direction that you want it to go, and know that muscle testing and neuroemotional coaching can really, really, really support you and get you out of the loop, and so that you can have the life that you always dreamt of. So with that, I leave you. Have a great day. Thank you for being part of my community, and take care.